Hey everyone, my name is Isaac Arthur and I'm a co-founder here at Kodo Design in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I want to welcome you back to our series where we are diving into some of the topics, chapters, and theory from our new book, Craft Beer Rebranded. You can read this for free or buy your own 2-book bundle over at craftbeerrebranded.com, and I would like to briefly discuss where we have been in this series and where we're going. So in the first half of this video series, we focused on the major brand strategy pillars you need to define during your rebrand. So things like weighing your brand strategy, weighing your brand equity rather, defining your brand values, positioning your brewery, defining your brand architecture and your essence and stuff like that. For the next several videos, we are in the home stretch here. We're going to be stepping back a bit and talking more about the admin side of the rebranding process itself. We are doing this because it's really easy to look at beautiful new branding or packaging or fancy new website and get excited. But there's an enormous amount of work that goes into making that all work before you even get to that point. So this goes far beyond the brand strategy and design portion. Those definitely take work, and that's what the series is about, of course. But for a project to launch and make an impact and directly lead to an increase in sales, the behind-the-scenes design process itself, the work that no one in the world beyond you and your design partner will know about, it has to be just as carefully managed. And this doesn't matter how great a design firm is, or even how great your brewery team is for that matter. If this process is mismanaged, at best it won't go smoothly, and the launch could be confused and jumbled. At worst, you're going to waste an enormous amount of money and precious time. People could be fired, your sales could slide, your reputation can be irreparably hurt. I don't want to paint too grim a portrait here, but I will just say that the next several videos we are releasing are going to be touching on a very important part of the process, and all of this needs to be carefully managed. So, with that said, let's discuss the very first part of this process, and that would be goal setting. What are some of the common goals breweries have headed into their rebrand? Why are these important from a process standpoint, and how can we make sure that you are aiming for things that you can actually measure down the line? A quick note before diving into any of this: any move to rebrand your brewery must result in an increase in sales. And not just that euphoric bump, that kind of short-term bump that you get that tends to, I should say, follow a new brand launch, but a sustained and upward trend in overall velocity. Rebranding can be expensive. It's a very crucial process for your business. So while you can have many different goals, we're going to get into those, all of them should work towards this overarching end state in one way or another. So, project goals and metrics are different with every project because the local context is always different. Reviving a 25-year-old legacy brewery brand that wants to achieve more penetration in its home market requires much different goals than does revamping and the branding and packaging, let's say, for a 5-year-old brewery that wants to triple its production in the next 3 years. Markedly different goals. So, let's talk about how to set these goals themselves. Believe it or not all goals are created equal. You can have fuzzy goals, internal goals, external goals, and concrete quantitative goals, and these are all important. When we help breweries set rebranding project goals, we like to use the S.M.A.R.T protocol, and this isn't a fancy Kodo concept. I believe it was developed back in the 80s. It's an acronym for specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and time-limited. And we like this framework because SMART goals provide an easy way not only to measure your success, but also to be confident that what you are measuring, what we are measuring, is actually relevant to your business and your rebranding objectives. So here is an example of an undefined, that would be not SMART goal. So we hear this one a lot. We want to increase beer sales. Cool. If Kodo helps you rebrand and you sell just one more barrel next year, one more pint, we'll make it, then we're taking all the credit for it. So let's contrast with a similarly themed SMART goal. So we want to increase sales of our 3 core beers by 15% total through all our chain retail accounts by the end of the year. This gives us a lot more direction and process guidance. And this is a SMART goal because it is specific. So you want to increase your core beer sales by 15%. It is measurable because sales can easily be quantified, of course, and measured from one time period to another, like year over year and whatnot. It is action-oriented because you can use this goal to determine whether a particular design decision will help you achieve your goal and quickly adjust as needed. It is realistic because with great branding, packaging, and sales, all of these things work in concert. 15% is an entirely reasonable sales goal depending on your current market share and project context, of course. And finally, it is time limited because you've given yourself to the end of the year to hit that mark. So, That was a very long example. Now that you understand how to define SMART goals, why is it important from a design process standpoint? Why does this matter? And that's a great question. I'm glad you asked. A big benefit that comes from SMART goal setting, and the reason that we push for it, is that it makes design decision processes throughout the rebranding process much easier. Imagine you're sitting in a packaging presentation with your design firm. They're showing you a few different directions, and rather than becoming mired in emotional decisions about like whether or not you personally like a design concept, you can ask yourself, your entire team can ask yourselves, will this can design move us further to or closer away from our goal of increasing beer sales, our core beer sales, by 15% by the end of the year? You see how this is a much more concrete touch point that you can weigh design decisions against, which is extremely valuable when you are discussing qualitative, emotional, fuzzy things like design. Okay, now that I've spent the last 5 minutes talking about how important quantitative SMART goals are, let me backpedal a little bit by saying how important qualitative goals are as well to the rebranding process. I don't want you to completely disregard those, even though we do think that SMART goals are very important, because the link between your brand and the beer you brew is very real. And this link can be hard to completely quantify. As an example, it's hard to prove that a rebrand actually drives more sales, since your sales and branding don't work in a vacuum. So while SMART goals are a great tool for this, in many cases, qualitative goals, that is the fuzzier wants and needs of your team may have, these can help you achieve more concrete metrics as well. A few of these that's not how that word goes. A few of these qualitative goals can include deepening your relationship with your current audience whilst reaching out to new folks. So a rebrand can clarify and strengthen your relationships with long-term customers while also attracting new ones. That's a typical project goal. People who have been fans since the beginning will cheer your progress, and in doing so, they will make enough racket to bring new fans into the fold and increase your brand awareness across the board as well. Another fuzzy yet hard to measure goal is that we want to rebrand to bring clarity and consistency to our marketing. And with your newly refined brand voice and your positioning, you'll be better equipped to tell that story through social media and content marketing and podcasting and all these other promotional efforts. So whether it's through writing, imagery, video, your rebranding process should shine through in every single channel. And again, that's kind of hard to measure. What's another one? It can strengthen and clarify your brewery's culture. So we found that getting the entire brewery team engaged during the rebrand can be an incredible tool for building internal culture and camaraderie. It's not uncommon for brewery teams to be really siloed, like any business. The brew staff is toiling away on the floor while the marketing team, the folks I'm probably talking to right now, are up front in your lovingly air-conditioned office. The sales team is out there visiting accounts, and the CEO is waking up at 4 a.m. to be on the local news program and kissing babies or whatever it is that they do. The rebranding process provides an opportunity to bring all of you together to discuss what you believe and what makes your brewery so special. It's a nice pause, and we've actually found it to be a powerful team building exercise for this reason. So, we have covered several common reasons why breweries rebrand and what goals they set back in the third video of this series, I think it was. So check that out if you haven't already. Otherwise, that should cover everything for today. In our next video, we're going to stick with the admin side of the rebranding process. We're going to look at how to build your internal team ahead of your rebrand. And I want you to head over again to craftbeerrebranded.com, pick up your book bundle. Again, that's 2 very fancy books. Learn how to rebrand your brewery, and we will get back with you all soon. Cheers.